So let's talk about verrucas. Love them or hate them, we see loads of them as podiatrists. And I know it's not the best subject to be talking about when maybe you're having lunch or having breakfast, but it's something we see a huge amount in our clinic. Now this video is going to tell you a little bit more about what verrucas are, and it's also going to give you 3 hints and tips to help you manage a verruca should you have one yourself at home. So keep watching for more information. So the first thing to talk about is what exactly is a verruca. Well, a verruca is a virus. It's part of a group of viruses for the human papillomavirus, or HPV for short. There are lots and lots and lots of different types of HPV which affect the body. In particular, we're looking at ones which affect the epidermis, which is the most outer layer of skin cells. And what the verruca does, and what the virus does, is it actually changes the way in which the cells differentiate and change their shape as they move through those layers over the 28 to 40 day cycle. The great thing about verrucas, and this is something which is quite impressive with them, is that they have the ability to cloak or hide themselves from the immune system, and that means that although the body knows something's there, it doesn't quite know what to do with it because it's not open enough, it's not obvious enough. So for you Star Trek geeks out there, I want you to think about Klingon birds of prey. You have the USS Enterprise on one side, you have the Klingon bird of prey on the other. The USS Enterprise can't really do much to the Klingon bird of prey because it's cloaked. Same with verrucas. So what we have to do is we have to find a way of stimulating an immune response in order to treat that verruca. Now, one thing I will say is that we don't automatically assume that somebody has a depressed immune system when they have a verruca. There are some cases in which that is happening, but generally most people day to day will not have a depressed immune system. So keep watching this video for the 3 hints and tips to help you manage your verruca at home. So hint number 1, simple question I have for you is, does your verruca cause you any problems? If the answer is no, leave it. Why worry about treating it? If it's not causing you any problems, leave it well alone for the moment. Most verrucas will sort themselves out within a very reasonable amount of time. For children, their skin turnover is so much quicker that they end up with the verrucas disappearing very quickly. With adults, it can take a little bit longer, but generally you will see a verruca, if it's not causing any problems, go within 1 to 2 years. So if it's not causing you a problem, leave it alone. Number 2, should you have a buildup of hard skin on top of your verruca, it's quite sensible just to reduce that down with a file or an emery board to make it more comfortable. Now, what I tend to advocate is use an emery board which you can then dispose of once you've filed it down. You don't want to be spreading that verruca to other areas of your feet or your hands. Once you've done that as well, you can apply a tape over the area, and what the tape does is it holds moisture in place. When the verruca is quite hard, the moisture comes away, making it even harder and making it more uncomfortable. There's a fancy name for that. I won't give you at the moment. It's a bit geeky and a bit boring for you. But essentially, if you can keep some moisture in the area, it makes it macerated, and that creates a little bit of an inflammatory response as well. Now, on the subject of tape, I would avoid duct tape at all costs. Electrical tape, no, it's not licensed for it. It's not good for it. But there are some very good medical tapes out there which you can use. Certainly, the one I use on a regular basis is something called kinesio tape, which is very easily available from podiatrists and from other stores as well. Little circle of that over the top every day just helps to keep it under control. And number 3, really this is just a case of keeping it covered, or at least using things like flip-flops and sandals when you're in communal areas where there might be some moisture on the floor and the chances are your feet are exposed. So think swimming pools, think changing rooms in gyms, that kind of thing. Also, no sharing towels with family members, and just making sure that you keep on top of that general protection. I'm not advocating that you go out and get verruca socks, although you are free to do that if you want. Most people don't use verruca socks, and you'll find there's a lot of people out there who don't even know they have a verruca but will still be out in public. But very simple things like flip-flops and sandals will help just to protect your feet and protect you from spreading it to other people. So I hope you enjoyed that video looking at 3 hints and tips on how to manage your verrucas at home. Now, it's safe to say that some of you will have verrucas which don't respond to very simple treatment, or are symptomatic that you really can't leave them alone, and that's where we come in. As podiatrists, we have a whole host of different treatments which we can use to help treat your verruca, from very simple debridement and education, through to freezing, through to auto-inoculation and needling, through to microwave therapy. Each of these has different pros and cons to it, and we can discuss that with you based on what we see with your particular verruca. It's important, though, to consider that not all lesions on the skin are verrucas, and often it's worth coming to see a podiatrist just simply for us to assess it and tell you whether it is a verruca or not. There are other things which can masquerade as verrucas as well, which have very different treatment protocols. So if you have any questions, you'll find all of the details at the end of this video, and please feel free to get in touch at any time. I look forward to hearing from you.